Hello and welcome to another episode of Space Engineers. As we are just leaving the magnesium mine, it was actually all done. It had mined out its entire ability to, and the basic refineries that I attached to the base had turned all of the stone into wonderful materials for me to use. And we are driving back towards the base with the sunrise on the horizon. And make a little stop here at the iron mine to see how it's doing with its basic refinery and wind turbines, and pick up some of its materials. And this vehicle is heavy when it's got all these materials loaded into it. Come up here and we will dock up and lock and give a check to this thing. It's still got plenty of stone to work through. If we take a look, still got over 4 million kilograms to process there. So this thing will be working for a while. However, it is making some wonderful materials that we will be able to use, and those are automatically getting piped into my little rover here as it is parked up. But it's not why we're here. We're just to check on that, see how it's doing, grab the top up, like grab all the materials that it had topped up. It'll continue to work there as it is a powered grid, so it won't be deleted. What we need to do is go and set up another one of these on the ice field, as we're going to need a lot of ice. The dropship is pretty much done. You can see it there as we drive towards the ice. But we need to fill its tanks, we need to give it some extra ice. The internals, I've already designed a fair amount of it. We need to just finish off the internals this episode, and then we can probably transfer a bunch of materials to it and disconnect it to see how she does. Because what I most likely need to do at some point is set up a way for this to connect up to the base that's not through just a direct conveyor tube. I have to do it through a connector, as it's not like I can just have that part of the base forever. It eventually needs to become its own ship. So we're just gonna so carefully make our way down to the ice field here. I'm full on braking here. I'm trying to brake as hard as I can. I've even got the emergency brake on. And our ship is just so heavy right now that it's still going down the hill. I just can't stop it. But thankfully, it's a fairly easy drive down to the ice, and we're good. And we're down on the ice. Now, there's so much ice that I want to process. I am honestly contemplating whether or not I want to actually run a pipe from the base all the way down here, because the base isn't too terribly far. You can see it there right at the very tippy top of the screen, just above the ridge line. I could essentially just run a pipe straight from there all the way over here and connect it to a large cargo container that then I could pump it full of ice. Alternatively, I could make a ship or a rover or something that would be a ice collector that I could use. But then there is also these areas right here, which are under ice ores. So they've got the little black spotches to show up different types of ore, and if I turn on my HUD again, we can see that there is magnesium, nickel, silicon, all sorts of stuff I could possibly use. And the ice isn't bad either, because if I start really grinding into this ice, I could get a huge extra repository of ice on the dropship for extra fuel. Also, I could run some of the hydrogen generators to power this thing, as I would have just such vast quantity of extra ice that would be absolutely stupid. So what I think I want to do is set up a monster of a drill rig, as there's a lot of things here, and I could drill under all these different places. Well, let me just get out some of my own tools. I have a drill, and I want to get down and see where some of these materials are. So the silicon is right below me here. And this is the one I kind of want to target because I don't have a big repository of silicon yet. I haven't done one of my drill rigs there. So, we have silicon. Ooh, and that's actually underneath a thing of stone. So, the entire lake here is from, say, 10 meters away from the silicon to 30 meters away. So, the lake is about 20 meters deep in terms of the amount of ice that's there. So I need to dig through 20 meters of ice, then 10 meters of stone, and then I can hit my things. So I'm probably going to need like 3 or 4 pistons going downwards, which is a fair amount of materials here. But I think we can do it. I think it is possible. So let's get some of the various bits and bobs that I will need. Conveyor tube, a cargo container, some advanced rotor, and I'm going to get the basics of this set up, as of course you guys have already seen me do this. There was the whole video where I showed how it can be done, and yeah, I will come back when I've gotten this pretty much set up. Oh, there we go. And we're heading back down to our little mining rig as, oh my god, I have completely filled this little welder. It is so heavy, as I needed all the components to build all of these drills, as this thing is absolutely massive. And also I needed to finish off these wind turbines on top. I'm not sure if putting them so close to each other is detrimental to their own power and such, but can you not weld that thing? Come on. Well, fine. Maybe you don't have the materials for it. But I do know you have the materials for a bunch of drills, as we're going to have a huge line of drills that we can stick down into the earth and get all this stuff sucked up. Excellent. Weld. Weld. Make sure those are all topped off. And then we can let this thing loose, ever so slowly spinning around, and then the 4 pistons we have to go downwards, we can give it a little bit of oomph, give them a little bit of forward momentum, and it'll be wonderful. Alright, let me just dump what I had in my inventory in there. Do I really not have the stuff to build these, or do these just not wanting to build? Okay, it's got the motors. It needs girders and stuff. That's why it's not building up. Ah, it's because I'm missing materials. Oh well, that's fine. I will manually do those. If not, I could even do a hydrogen engine on this thing, considering the amount of ice that I'm going to get out of it. So I can just set this thing down for a moment, just to park it, and it can sit there. It's got 13 days of power just sitting there, and we need to get the rover out of the way, as it is certainly in the mining zone. And park it up. How about you? Do you have stuff for wind turbines? Not enough girders and stuff. Damn it. Oh well. I can get one more going here at least, so this thing has a tiny bit more power. and then I'll clean this up in a bit. But now what we can do is we can get the advanced rotor spinning at our nice small, say, quarter turn. And then our big set of drills. This is going to be loud. Get all these drills online. And as they spin around, they will start pumping massive quantities of ice back into the base. At least they should be, if everything's functioning correctly. Ooh. Somewhere along this system here, it is not going. Advanced rotor into piston, top part, which is full, which into piston, which that is completed. Aha, right there, steel plates. Okay. Somewhere there was a mistake. And not enough steel plates in storage. There should be some here. Yes, there we go. Should be more than enough here. We just grab a few and go finish up this piston part. Boom. Now that should be transferring all that ice back to the compartment. Yes! Already just bam, a million ice. Just right there. So let's run this thing off of a hydrogen engine, because that sounds fun. There's a hydrogen engine and there's an H2O2 generator. We'll put a pair of H2O2s and then a hydrogen generator off of those. So let's slap one H2O2 and two, because you need two of them in order to keep up with the needs of a single hydrogen engine. We'll keep this thing unlocked because we want to be able to drive up to this, so we'll leave that one open. Let's see. We'll put the hydrogen engine on the side here, just whatever, sticking out, because that's fine. And then the H2O2s will go just below it with a conveyor. Get that conveyor junction, because this hydrogen engine should have a thing on the bottom of it, right? Oh, it should be back here. Okay, right there, and then we can do the H2O2 generators on the sides like this. Just like so. And we got ourselves a nice little sort of pack of stuff there that we can use for power. We'll see what we can weld up here ourselves before we go back for any materials. Looks like we just need some small steel tubes and power cells. That got finished. We need the stuff for one more conveyor junction, the power cells, some small steel tubes. And that should be good. So I'll be right back when I've got all that materials. And we have the hydrogen engine going, producing all of the power this could ever need, as it is only doing 4.33 kilowatts at the moment. These are slowly filling it up, and it is eating from the ice in the storage here. Although we have so much ice and so much is being brought in that this thing will be absolutely fine. So we actually don't even need these wind turbines up here. We can take them off, as we have ice power. And now all we need to do is get it so that these pistons are extending ever so slowly, and that we have enough storage space to hold all of our ice, as we don't want to just be drilling down and getting massive quantities of materials that we have nowhere to put, because that wouldn't be a good thing. So how's this thing doing for power here? 10 years of power. Take a look at the control panel. The hydrogen engine is currently putting out 1 megawatt. The majority of that is actually just to run the H2O2 generators because they need 500 kilowatts themselves. However, it is a net positive because this thing can put out more power than it requires to run. So then it is just the ice cost, essentially. But we're going to have millions and millions and millions of ice, so it should be okay. So the other thing we need to do on here is probably just expand out these large cargo containers several times because we just want to have as much possible ice storage as we could possibly get. As that is good. Although I'll probably have to come back here a couple times because these things are just massive resource hogs, and I don't know if I have everything I have on hand for those. Not enough interior plates and storage. Oh, well, at least we got one more. So that's filled up. Oh well, we'll get to it. Next thing we need to do is add our little conveyor and connector group so we can start trucking back ice. So, get the conveyor tube, which we're going to want our filter, and we're like our sorter, but we're not going to need anything beyond just, just sort, because there's not going to be any bad materials from this. It's all going to be useful. It's either going to be ice or it's going to be material, so it's going to be good. And for our pistons, we're going to get these pistons and we're going to let them go out at 0.001, I guess, to start with. Ever so slowly, starting to all expand at the same time. We'll have to figure out exactly what an appropriate speed for these are. Maybe a little bit faster. Because if we think about it, essentially, we're going to have these things rotate every 4 minutes. So that's 60 times 4. So we're going to have 240 seconds. And over 240 seconds, we want to go 2.5 meters, approximately. So that we're one block or one sort of drill head lower. So 2.5 divided by 240 seconds is 0.01 in total. However, there's 4 things, which would be 0.02. So if I set mine at 0.002 for all my pistons, and the velocity here 0.002, that would be appropriate, as far as I can tell. So that every time it went around all the way once, it would be 1 block lower, which makes sense. So we're going to leave it like that, and it's going to drill out this entire area, and it's going to drill out a lot of stuff. So we're going to need to first make sure that these cargo containers are filled, and I'm going to need to go grab some more materials to make sure that I can get this connector set up, and we'll do that really quick off camera. Then the next fun thing we're going to have to do is find a better way up to the base, and I'm not sure if there is a nice way up to the base. I'm very tempted to just build myself a ramp out of here. So we're going to do that. So I'll be right back after I've gotten this thing connected. And now that that's in place, here's a perfect opportunity for us to use our stilts. So we can align ourselves as best we can. And use our stilts. Oh no, it's not enough. We're not high enough. Oh, I thought it was going to be. Oh well, we'll just have to make ourselves a little bit of a platform there to drive up onto, as it doesn't look like there's enough height. But that's fine. We got plenty of steel plates to make a little bit of a platform here. Bring this out a little bit. And bring it this way. And we can even make this almost like a drive-through in that sense. I'll get rid of everything else except Armor blocks. Yeah. And we just drive up here. And then on the other side, drive down. Oh, it'll be beautiful. No need to turn around or back up or anything. Might need to make that one wider, but this will fit for now. Drive on up. And this should just fit. Hell yeah. Lock up. And I'll just get a whole bunch of ice transferred to my ship. These are all connected up, and there's tons of space here to fill with ice, as these H2O2 generators are using it up. But that is okay, because we have tons of it, as it has gone all the way around. And we can see how much it's sort of digging out per go, which looks more than decent. We don't want to go too fast with this because, of course, the closer you are to the center, the less spin you have, but the further the way out here, this is relatively going faster. So it's having just a tiny bit of issues keeping up with drilling everything down. So this is probably the fastest that this can spin, is about a quarter turn. I can even turn it down to, say, 0.23, and that might be a little bit nicer for it. So why don't we do that? With the advanced rotor, we'll turn it to, say, 0.23. So it's just a little less, and we'll see less of that sparking and shaking and such. Yes. Perfect. Oh, the ice. The amount of ice. It is absolutely glorious. Oh, there's a hole in here. Got a piece of block there. And we can take a look at the amount of ice we have in storage as... Look at the large cargo container. Frickin' 11 million! It's full already! The second cargo container, large one, is starting to fill up. Look at large cargo containers. Oh my god. That's pretty insane how quickly this is filling up. I didn't expect the first cargo container to be full already. So what we may need to do is, at some point, I'll probably take a run or two back, and then if this thing starts to get full, we'll just have to turn it off until we actually use this ice and get a chance to move it back to the base in time. So there's no worries about running out of ice for this thing, that's for sure. In the meantime, let's also just expand this out by a couple on each side to make this a little bit easier to drive onto. Like so. And like... nope. That. It's going so well. So excited. Massive quantities of ice. And this should be all nice and full. And now the question is, how are we going to get this back to base? Because there be a cliff in our way. And I want to kind of make this a relatively direct route. So my idea is that I can go to the top of the cliff and essentially just build a ramp down to the bottom here that I can then drive up. And oh my god, this is so slippery. So, let's park up. Let's grab all of the steel plates that it has on here, which actually isn't that many left. In the meantime, I think it would be beneficial if this thing was turned off for a bit, because this amount of ice is going to be absolutely stupid. Because this second cargo container is already half full. I think I actually overdid it. There's no way I need this much ice. Okay, let's put this into a thing here. We want the drills, we want the rotor, we want the pistons. I want to put that into, that is the drilling rig. And I want to, if I turn the pistons off, well, they'll stop going out there. So drilling rig off, advanced rotor, rotor lock. And so these pistons here shouldn't be extending any further, and the whole thing should just hang out and wait for me. Yeah, they're not extending very good, because already we've mined out an absolutely incredible quantity of ice that will be able to run our hydrogen generator here for practically forever. So let's leave it like that. And now we're going to build a ramp. Or do I even need to? I wonder. I might be able to get up this area here if I play with my strength settings on this rover. So if I go into my menu here, I should have a group for all my wheels, and I should be able to go, say, decrease power, and drag it on there, increase power, and also here it would be, where's friction, decrease friction, and increase friction. So that way I can have a control over this as we try to make up this hill. Because we're going to try to do it. We're 1.5 million kilograms of weight on this rover. And I believe we can make it up this hill. The whole problem is going to be whether or not we have enough oomph to do it, which is where the power and friction comes in, because we can start to slide back down there. That's with me trying to push it hard as I can. So if I hit 6 here, and we start powering up to 100% power, let's see how far we can get up here now. We're doing it better, but we're not making it any further. And if we put it up to 100% friction, can we grip this hill? Can we power up this hill any better? Oh, we can't. We can barely stay. We can barely even stay on the hill, let alone power up it. So that's not going to work. I think what we might need to do is, like we did with our little scout, we might need to put a couple little boosters on this with atmospheric thrusters. I don't think I have everything I need to make these. Oh, I do. Oh, what luck. I have everything I need to make a couple atmospheric thrusters. So let's slap a couple right here. And they will be our extra little boost to the front. Also, I'm building things in that sort of gray that I was building the dropship in, which is not a bad color, but we'll make this one color here. So that'll give us an extra little boost there, although it takes a lot of our power. And now let's see how this goes up the hill. Rocket boost. Come on, rocket boost. You can do it. Oh, you can do it. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Okay. It's not functioning. It's up to there, but we've got maybe the ability to add a couple more thrusters to this. This thing's shaking around like crazy. As we need this thing to be able to climb hills to get this ice out of here. That's doubling up our thrust. Let's do this. Can I climb? Oh, I can, just barely. Come on, boost me, baby. Boost me, baby. We're starting to pick up speed, going uphill. Gotta get over these little bumps here as we wiggle our way up. Come on. Maybe we should try from a different angle here. Not try to attack the hill so hard on the straight on. Come on. There we go. Get that over that little bump. And then straighten it out. That's it. Switch back. Switch back all the way up. There we go. Oh, I think we did it. So I guess we don't need to build our little ramp, as this little rover has made its way to the top. But those little boosters were super useful. So let us actually put a couple more on there. We'll have a battery of 6 at the back, and that should be able to boost us out of any situation that we could ever find ourselves into. Oh, I need more motors. I'll fix that up back at base. That is okay. But yeah, those things allow me to get going real fast here. I should make a little group for those, because we got some atmospheric thrusters. We'll save those as boosters. And we will throw them into the toolbar here and toggle on off, so we can toggle our boosters on and off as we need it, to see if we need help getting up and over whatever problems we run into. And we can also lower down our friction and strength here down to more realistic values. That's interesting. Why is that at 59? Come on, I want you to be in 5 increments. There we go. Why are you at 49? That makes me very sad. Hauler wheels. 50. There we go. Excellent. And we overshot our little parking garage. Come on. There we go. And into the garage. Come on, you can do it. There we go. Don't need to add my my boosters in to make it into the garage, as this should grab us up. Come on. There you go. And we'll drop off our materials. A whole bunch of extra building materials that I had there, as well as some results from the various mining areas that I was collecting up, all into the base and ready to kick butt. But that episode was interesting. At least I hope so. We've got those ready to go. The mining derrick is down on the ice. Just a huge quantity of ice down there that we'll be ripping up. And what we're most likely going to do is I'll get these rotor turrets onto this overnight, as everything's now in place on this ship. And once the rotor turrets are on, I'm going to... Oh, yes, and I also did some of the internals in here. So I've got these efficiency modules. There is an assembler packed in back there. There's a few gyroscopes packed in. I cleared off the gyroscopes and gravity gen. They were just in the middle here, where they're just sort of temporarily when I was designing the ship. I've packed in more conveyors here, large cargo containers. So I'm getting the internals designed. Once they're all done, and all the internals are designed, and the rotor turrets are on the sides and the top and such, I think next episode we are going to take this baby out for a flight. We'll disconnect it from the base, as it is fueled up and it just needs a little bit of extra materials. We can park our mining ship inside of it. Hopefully it'll fit through those doors. And yeah. But that's going to be it for now. Thanks for watching, and good hunting.